Hi, my name is Kanessa and welcome back to my series Doing Business in Africa. This is my attempt of teaching the world out there to make people understand how business in Africa works, because the misconceptions, I should say the amount of misconceptions, is just too much. So I'm here to break it down, the good and the bad. In my previous videos, I talked about certain general misconceptions, the corruption, the repatriation of funds, all these kind of big, problems, I should say, all these big problems that you deal with when you enter the African market. And majority of the diaspora or the people inside Africa know about it, but foreign investors might bump into these issues without understanding or knowing about these. So if you haven't seen my first video, it's live on YouTube or it's even on LinkedIn. My team also posted there. But today I want to talk about the mindset, because it is important to understand what the people are like, and that alone has its misconceptions. It's not fairly judged by the world. I mean, the way Africans are, it's quite diverse, and I don't think I could explain everything in one video either. It's a lot. I mean, Africa, I said it in my previous video too, 54 countries, 54 of them, different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds. It's insane. We're talking about like thousands of tribes. And you have modern Africans, but you have traditional Africans as well. You even have the Africans living in rural areas, completely different. Even for us, I'm Ethiopian, me as an Ethiopian, a diaspora in this case, I still don't understand what the mentality might be like in certain rural areas. But it doesn't mean that there is no opportunity for you or for an investor. So let me break down what I know and what I've learned so far. Africa. It's a whole continent and it's a big one. And I already mentioned it, 54 countries and hundreds, maybe thousands of tribes, thousands of languages, thousands of lifestyles. I mean, it's so diverse. I don't even know where to start. It's a home to 1.5 billion people. That's insane. I don't think we can even grasp how large the continent is. So if you invest, you generally invest in a country in Africa, or maybe even more specific, in a industry within Africa. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. So when you deal with people in that industry or in that country, it's very important to understand their mentality. For example, I'm Ethiopian. I'm East African. East African, we are quite similar, but so different at the same time. I mean, when I travel to Kenya or to Uganda, it's a whole different lifestyle, whole different mentality, but I see so many similarities with Ethiopia as well. And then let's say you have West Africa. I mean, I think the most well-known or famous one is Nigeria, maybe Ghana, but all the West African countries, their culture is very different from ours. They're way more outgoing, they're way more loud in a positive way, and we love it. To us, it's entertaining, but we might be boring to them because we are not expressive and super loud. Our culture and mentality and mindset is very much more laid back and more, humble in that sense, where we might come off super boring, I guess, to West Africans or Southern Africans. So understand, what region are you dealing with? And then, of course, let's not forget North Africa. By the world, they are labeled as Arabs. In my personal opinion, they're not really Arabs. They're more African than Arabs, honestly. But I think that image lives because North Africans have or use Arabic as, a major or main language. But, the mentality and the way they act still resonates with us. So, whenever I travel to Egypt, to me, they're very much African. But it's a different part of Africa. And for some reason, whether you think it's good or bad, they're kind of separated from the rest of Africa. And I don't mean that in a bad way or in a negative way, but their culture is different, let's say. And with that, other Africans have a hard time finding similarities there and sometimes even coexist. And let's not forget the political part of it, but that is not our issue. I don't talk about politics, but it exists and it has a major influence on people in this continent. But because of that, they tend to be separated or looked at as a separate part of Africa. But in reality, they're not. The same opportunities and the same, investment possibilities are there in North Africa. So Africa, choose a country or choose a region at least and try to understand their mentality. And there is no such thing as a corporate mindset in Africa. At least I haven't found it yet. Even when I deal with lawyers or accountants or people in the corporate business or industry, honestly, it's not the same as in the West. And everything moves through who do you know, how do you treat people, what is your network like. That's how we move here in Africa. I know to the West, this is very old-fashioned and very unprofessional, but it is what it is. So you either join them, if you cannot beat them at least, or you will have a hard time here. From what I've seen, the Western mentality, bringing that corporate mindset here and think you can actually make it happen here, I haven't seen it work, honestly. And I'm saying that as a person that actually tried it. I was raised in the Netherlands, so I really thought that, that modern way of doing business would work here, and I failed miserably. And it took me a good 2 years to understand that. So build your network and build a name. And that's actually what I did, the route that I chose. I'm very much of an introvert, so I don't like to talk and, just network, or I don't really like to mingle a lot. So I'm much more of an introvert. So I choose to build my name from a distance so people know who I am instead of me going out there to know who everybody else is. And I'm bad at remembering names, honestly. It's networking. It's very important. Who do you know, or how many people do know you? If that makes sense. And I want to add to that a lot of deals happen verbally. I mean, people care more about who you are than what you have to offer. I know it's strange and it might sound a little bit, out of the ordinary, but this is just how it works here. And again, it comes down to your network. Who do you know, or who knows you? And that's just how you get things done. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Nepotism is a thing here. Might not be accepted in the West, but honestly, it's not that bad. So you work on yourself, you invest in yourself, and automatically that will translate into bigger business in the continent. So yes, we might have an opinion about nepotism, but honestly, in this continent, it's just you that has a problem with it. And also, you build trust. So people have this misconception that Africans are lazy. They're not lazy, Building a supply chain just takes a lot of time because it's word to mouth, and people actually have a life here, so they also prioritize life with friends and family. So sometimes things can take longer, and no, that doesn't mean you are scammed, and that doesn't mean things are not going to happen. Just work with it instead of against it. Leave your emotions out, and I would recommend this honestly in every part of the world, but leave your emotions out, look at the circumstances, network, and if it doesn't work with one person, go with the other, or come back another time when that person is in a better mood, I would say. But no, it's not laziness, and delays happen, but that's because things work differently. But once you've built that trust, things move fast. And I can say that from my own experience, because once I've built a name in a certain area, things go really fast, and a little too fast if you ask me. But that's just because they trust you and you are the go-to person for them. And I cannot emphasize enough, build your own name, invest in yourself in this continent. The more you do that, the more people will trust you, which is also the same thing in other parts of the world. But this part, like Africa, it's easier. So that's why I recommend it. Invest in yourself and things will be smoother. Or build a network if you have the time and the energy for it. I would definitely say that Africans are born entrepreneurs. Not necessarily because they want to always, but you have to. But there are a lot of problems here. And I think a lot of people know about it and see it. But a problem means that it needs a solution. And a solution can be a business idea. Usually they just lack the resources to grow it and to build it into something, company worthy. But Africans are natural entrepreneurs. The little shops that you see even in rural areas, it's just amazing. They just build their shops with some sticks and start selling. I mean, why not? If you can survive with that, I mean, you're a born entrepreneur, for sure. A born entrepreneur. So instead of complaining, they just do it. And yes, like I said, it's because they have to. I get it. But still, I mean, what better motivation is there than you having to survive? So you are motivated. At least you're way more motivated than someone in the West that is actually fully supported by government or whatever, that actually would work the opposite way, if you ask me. So if you are too comfortable, you don't have the motivation to make it happen or to make it a success. So Africans, again, are entrepreneurs. I believe it. They just lack the resources, and that's where you come in as an investor. All in all, this market is not for the weak. You have to have a strong mindset. You have to be resilient, just like them, and match their energy. That's where it comes down to. But they move in groups. You have to understand them, especially if you're a foreign investor or a Western investor. Please humble yourself and just try to match their energy. I'm not saying that you have to forget about who you are, stay who you are, but match the energy, match the environment. And for you, it's gonna take a lot more time to build that trust because of certain things that happen in the history. But it's time to move on. I get that. So if you come here, match their energy, understand their mentality, understand their mindset, and be of added value. Don't come here being superior and thinking that you can get things done, which in all honesty, I know doors open for you, but use it in their favor too. Give something back of that privilege. Share it with them. Grow together. Because like I said, they move in groups. So if you move along with them, if you provide them something, if you open those doors, you have a value. So they will trust you more and you will be accepted more. So investing in the continent will change your life forever. And your life becomes richer. So why not? Thank you for listening. I hope this video was of added value. And if you're planning to invest in Africa, feel free to reach out. I have a diaspora investment firm. We also partner with a bigger investment firm that helps outsiders, so foreigners, to invest in Africa, and we guide them in the process of it. So if you want to learn more, you can check out nile.africa. This is for the diaspora. And if you just, as a foreigner, want to learn more on how to do business in Africa, feel free to reach out to me. We also help and guide foreigners. Thank you for listening, and I will see you at my next video. In my next video, I will dive deeper on what the added value could be. How can you add value to the African continent? Because it's a give and take, so you can succeed quicker. So as an investor, you're not just there for the money. Of course you are, I get it. So as an investor, you're usually there for the money, but in Africa, you need a little bit extra. You need to be able to offer more, if that makes sense. I will go into detail in my next video. For now, I would like to thank you, and I will see you next time.